Certainly.
Have you noticed fruit and veg shortages? I have.
Yeah.
This weekend.
A lot of empty shelves
Not
at the
so many
supermarkets.
tomatoes in the shops. They've been going on actually for the last couple of weeks and could continue for more. Supermarkets continuing to put limits on produce.
Yeah, did you see this at the weekend? Scenes like this, empty shelves. The government says unseasonable weather in Spain and Morocco is causing the issue.
We can speak now to Minette Batters, farmer and president of the National Farmers Union of England and Wales. Morning to you. First of all, I know this is a really tricky time for farmers, but just explain to us why this is happening.
Well, it's quite a unique situation because many people will be seeing on social media a lot of shots across Europe of plentiful supplies of tomatoes and peppers and wondering what on earth is going on here. So there is a challenge in Morocco. There is a challenge globally on the back of the war in Ukraine with the price of gas. And so there is a shortage. But, you know, we have done very little here. In fact, in many ways, things have got worse for our growers. So we've got the lowest level of production of tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers since records began. And it really needs two things to happen. It needs government to act and make sure that growers, and indeed for the poultry sector, for eggs and poultry meat, things that need warmth, that they can be part of the ETII scheme. That's the industry intensive energy scheme that no primary producer in food is part of, because glass houses have to be heated. So we need that in place. And then we need retailers to commit to a fair return, if you like, for the cost of production, because gas price is still 3 times higher. So for energy intensive crops like tomatoes that need to be warm, these growers have to be able to renegotiate their contractual relationships with retailers.
Some people seizing on this as an example of an issue which is caused by, or at least partly caused by, Brexit as well. Where do you stand on that?
Oh, without doubt. You know, Brexit, the pandemic, all of these were driving inflation. Brexit, you know, has very much made our trading relationship with our closest trading partner more difficult. But I can't emphasize enough, living with a retail price war when you have such monopoly buying power. We're a difficult country to trade with right now, and there are plenty of other market opportunities. And you know, we shouldn't shy away from the fact that, you know, countries like China, like India, Asia in general, you know, they are very much wanting to be able to buy fresh produce, all of which points back to prioritising domestic production here, something that I believe successive governments have failed to do. We've been warning about it for a very long time, and things need to change. We're lucky in that we've got water here. We're not challenged like Spain and Portugal and Italy, other countries that really have massive water scarcity problems. So I hope this is a reset moment.
Is there an issue perhaps with farmers refusing or not being able to grow certain types of produce here because of rising energy costs?
Oh, without doubt. I mean, if you've got a glass house that needs to be kept warm, and indeed you'll see on social media acres and acres, Lee Valley putting out this morning, you know, they've got a lot of glass houses that are empty simply because the price of gas is still 3 times higher to what it was, which is why we believe that these growers should be part of the energy intensive scheme that the government has launched. If they knew the price of gas, if they could get a fair return for what they're producing, they will do it. This is a sector that really, really can grow, and we should have been putting things in place. We'll never get totally self-sufficient in fresh produce, but we could make sure that this never happens again. But it does need everybody, government and retailers and packers, to come together to make sure that the consumers do not suffer the shortages they are. Don't forget, they were suffering rationing of eggs as well pre-Christmas, and we had only over 1 billion less eggs produced in 2022 to 2019. So this is about food. It's about food production in this country, and it's under huge pressure, and we need to see action from everybody.
So the ministers are meeting supermarket bosses today, sitting down in the same room. What do you expect or hope could come from that face-to-face?
Well, I have to say, I think it's slightly odd that they're bringing the major retailers in and nobody else. I would have thought you'd want a whole supply chain approach to this rather than just bringing in the retailers. So I think growers are asking, why are we, the NFU, not in the room? I don't know that anything personally can be achieved in the next month, because you can't just magic up a supply of tomatoes. These plans were put in place last autumn, which is when our growers should have been given confidence here. If they had been, we would be absolutely avoiding this situation. So I'm not sure quite what can be achieved to resolve the short-term issue.
Minette Batters, thank you.
We're also joined here on the sofa by chef Adam Reid, who can tell us what we can do with what we can get hold of, because it's a challenge for all of us. I guess it's a particular challenge for chefs.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, for what I personally do at the restaurant in Manchester, we're sourcing things that are very local and, are available, basically. So we're not necessarily affected by things like a lack of tomatoes at the moment, etc. But yeah, I know that there are kind of larger chains, larger, independent groups that maybe struggle when they're preparing their menus 3 months in advance and they need to expect something to be around.
So,
it maybe isn't.
Should we be adopting a style a bit more like a restaurant, maybe, where you just see what's there and put that on your menu?
You can do. There's a bit of manpower and mind power that's involved in that.
Really difficult,
so, yeah. When you're trying to, I suppose, manage a busy household with kids and work, etc., then that can be a bit challenging. But no, 100%. If what was available to you when you walk into the supermarket was maybe, what's a little bit more around. For example, purple sprouting broccoli's just come in now, swede are in season, celeriac, lovely root vegetables, and you're able to make something out of those.
Oh, you go on, because everyone keeps saying turnips, don't they?
Turnips, yeah. I mean, swede is, I suppose, a type of turnip.
Yes.
Your brassicas, I think turnips are a little bit kind of like not quite in at the moment. But yeah, just, things that should be available at this time of year. As a fruit example, traditionally it's a vegetable, but forced Yorkshire rhubarb from Yorkshire is your key ingredient at the moment.
OK, and that's in plentiful supply? We've got enough of that?
Yeah. Well, if the restaurants aren't all using it up.
That's the thing.
It's on every single menu at the moment. Yeah, 100%.
I bet it is.
You should see them. If you go to if you have a local veg shop and, that are buying things from the market, then 100% that'll be there, yeah.
Now, if you said to me, go to the supermarket, get yourself some celeriac and make a dinner out of that, I'd have a go.
Yeah.
But I think, it's challenging. What is easy to do with these fantastic root vegetables?
Keep it simple, peel it. The dirty vegetables. So
there you go, Sal, peel it.
Yeah, peel it.
My life peeling things.
Boil it, braise it in butter, boil it first and roast it. We do one with celerac's perfect. We salt bake it, so we wrap it in a little bit of salt pastry, which again can be...
I won't be doing that.
No, it's a little bit much, but even just peeling it, boiling it, and a little bit of, cream. Celerac's perfect raw. You can do a remoulade, which is a little bit like a coleslaw, with mayonnaise and mustard. Yeah, grate it down and just keep it raw, keep it fresh. And it gives you that kind of like salad aspect for this time of the year that you wouldn't normally get.
Trouble is, swede and turnip just don't quite sound exotic enough, do they?
No, they're not, but it's what you do with them more than anything. Okay. So we do something at a restaurant at the moment, and we turn the swede into almost like a honey roast ham effect. So we bake the swede after peeling it, and then we score the top of it like you would a ham, and then rub it up with some muscovado sugar and a little bit of honey, a little bit of spices, and then bang it in the oven so it gets a lovely glaze on it. It's delicious.
That sounds great.
That sounds really nice. For how long?
Probably about, when you're baking it off, probably 15, 20 minutes after you've cooked it first, obviously.
Well, so you steam it or something first, do you?
Yeah, so you can salt bake it, you can peel it and boil it, you can literally just wrap it in foil and cook it, for an hour and a half or something in the oven. Take it out, that skin should come off nice and easily then. Cut it into quarters, lie it down, go for it with the sugar and the honey. It's delicious.
A nation runs out the door looking for and turnips.
It's a lovely garnish with your beef as well, or, just to really spice up that your Sunday dinner.
Oh, well, there we go. Thank you very much indeed for coming in and talking us through it.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, you didn't bring any food.
Really hungry, yeah, I know.
It's too early for...
It's not too early, it's lunchtime for us.
Lovely to meet you. Thanks so much for coming in. 24 minutes.